Work here, welcome back to the bench. The time has come. The time that you all have been looking forward to and I have been dreading. It's time to assemble the seer cage. So this thing is notoriously horrible. I've got all my pieces out here. Now let's see if I can pull this off. So I think I'm going to start from this side, which is the pin block lifter side, and I'm going to work this way. I do have this slave pin. Now I want the sharp end of the slave pin to be down on the, what would be the left side of the firearm, because when I drive the new pin in, it's going to be coming from that direction. So we're going to be coming from that direction, and we don't want anything to kind of round around the nose of this. So I'm going to be using my P01 as my guide to how to put this damn thing together. So bear with me for a little bit and let's get going. Okay, so first things first is we've got our lifter arm. Now the lifter arm is going to sit right down in here like this, and it does have a spring that fits in there that kind of goes down inside that. Now this spring is tiny. Like, I don't know how I'm going to keep track of this thing really, but let's go ahead and sit the spring right there. Let's grab our slave pin. We're going to slide that through and get our spring and lifter arm lined up. Okay. Alright, need to get in here and make sure that this spring is seated properly, because right now it's not. The spring actually goes up on this ledge here. Here we go. And I think I got it. I got it. First piece done. So next up, we've got our seer like this, and it's going to come up from the bottom and in. Again, we're going to line up our holes, and we are going to slightly press our pin in to hold the seer where we want it. So now that the seer is where we want it, we've got two different springs here that have to go in. So we've got this one. Now this spring is going to go upside down like this. It's going to sit in a groove up here and fall down . There. Whew. Okay. So this spring is rough to get in here. You've got to get it wedged down in here and up on top of the seer here. Just barely got it in there. Now this next one is kind of a pain in the ass as well. So we've got to get this piece in from the bottom. And I really do recommend a good pick set for this. Okay, so with that there, I should be able to get this up from the bottom. Push that up. Let's push in. Haha! Making progress. I'm just going to keep working on this, and once I get it done, I'll kind of fill you guys in on what I just did, because I'm still not sure. Alright, let's double check this real quick. Make sure that it is indeed in like Flynn. Oh, it's together. It is together. Okay, so let me explain how I got the rest of this thing together. So the order goes very, very tiny spring, lifter arm, and then there's a relatively heavy spring here that fits up into a latch here, and then sits on the top of our seer bar here. And then there's another spring that sits in a groove here, and that spring reaches around the bottom of what I think is our decocker arm and holds tension on this. And then is the other side of our seer, so our seer encapsulates those two springs. And then is our decocker here. So what I had to do was getting everything through this first spring set, the lifter arm, the seer, and this first spring was relatively easy. Now this first spring I did have a problem with this spring edge here popping down underneath the seer. I had to take that back apart and put it down. But that ended up working out okay. This next spring was difficult. It has to come in from the bottom, and you've got to get that arm in here. Then you've got this other edge of the seer, and then we've got our decocker arm here that has to sit on top of the ledge on the back of our seer cage, but it comes down on the bottom where it actually attaches. So what I did was I got everything up to our seer cage through on our slave pin, and then I put our decocker in and had to come through the other way with the actual pin, which held our decocker in place. And after I held the decocker in place with the actual pin, I then grabbed the bottom of the seer with a pair of pliers where I could kind of manhandle around where it was aiming so that I could line up the slave pin with where the original pin was holding the decocker and push that all the way through. Then I simply put in my decocker here to verify that everything's functional. You can see as I push the decocker, it lifts the decocker arm, and I can feel some pretty strong tension on there. So that's it, guys. Whew, that was rough. Getting this thing together, now I can totally see why people absolutely hate these things. But I got it together. I never want to do another one. I probably will end up doing another one, but that's it. That is how you put together the seer cage for a CZ75 decocker. And on that note, I gotta get some sleep because my back hurts, my eyes hurt, and that wore me out. Till next time, guys, remember, I appreciate every one of you. Do your research, get informed, and get to work.